a simple starting point would be to test for the presence of Delta 8, Delta 9, hydrocannabinol HHC, and exo THC, which would be Delta 8 over 1%, is typically a strong indicator of conversions. Laboratories have the ability to do this. This would require them to simply get more standards for these additional cannabinoids to be testing. If we're identifying the presence of Delta 8, Delta 10, and HHC, these are obviously byproducts of other products that have been chemically converted to become THC. So we have a lot of investment in this industry. Some people upwards of $50 million to $100 million in their cultivations, and these people are literally, they can manufacture this product in the bathtub at their house, and we're not testing for it, and it is making it into this marketplace, and it does have some significant dangers associated with it.
Okay, thanks for bringing that forward, Steve.
And I think we want to add it to, I make a motion, we add it to next meeting for further discussion, and perhaps Steve will be kind enough to provide us with the presentation at that time.
I will get to work on it.
There is a motion from Murray to add that to the next agenda and to have more materials presented about Delta 8 and Delta 9 THC and potentially related testing. Did that capture your motion, Murray?
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Andrew Provencio, I second.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All those members in favor of the motion, please. Let me see the best way to do this. Probably raise your hand. Can they raise their hand? Google, no.
I think a roll call might be.
Oh, they can.
Oh, okay.
So if you're in favor of the motion and you're in the room as well, raise your hand, please.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Andrew Provencio, I'm trying to raise my hand, but I'm not sure if I am. So.
Yeah, we can see you on
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got 10, Megan, did you
Yep.
say? 10 in favor. Any folks would like to abstain, please raise your hand. We'll give folks a minute just to take their hands down.
Ryan, you're abstaining.
Ryan Hurley, your hand is up still. There you go.
Sorry about that.
Okay, so anyone abstain from the voting on the motion, please raise their hand now. We don't see any hands at this point. Anyone who is not in favor of the motion, please raise your hands.
Well, in that case, must have missed one, and it was unanimous at 11.
Okay, so unanimously passes Murray's motion. So we're going to add that as a topic on the next council agenda. So thank you for bringing that forward.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Is it currently legal under our program to do this? Is there something we could say to the current operators or the current license holders that this is illegal, or is this something that in some way might be legal?
So I think we have to be careful with this particular topic and the direction that we're going with it, just to make sure that we're in line with the council's charge and statute. Again, I think we need more information from Steve next month about exactly what the proposals might be. But again, this council is related to the licensure of marijuana facilities in Arizona and what is under the purview of the Department of Health Services. When it comes to products that are produced from hemp, that is outside of the department's jurisdiction. And so we have to be conscientious of that. Some of those conversations would be better suited possibly towards legislative changes that are really outside of what this committee is for.
Okay, I understand that. I just thought possibly we could inform the control board that this is going on, and maybe they could make a decision on it.
Okay. I'm sorry, Andrew, what control board were you referring to?
I'm referring to the Arizona Department of Health. I'm sorry, not the medical marijuana program. That's what I was referring to, not the control board, I guess.
So the Department of Health.
That's correct. I mean, I understand we're not supposed to be able to sell other products in dispensaries in most of the jurisdictions. So my thought would be that they could come out with a statement if it's clear in the rules.
So just to clarify, what's regulated by the Department of Health are the marijuana licensees and the marijuana and marijuana products that they're selling. If they're selling other products, that's outside of the department's regulatory control. The Department of Agriculture in Arizona does run the hemp program, so there may be some jurisdiction there, but that would be up to them to really determine it with their rules and statutes.
Okay.
Yeah, my request, Andrew, was to add Delta 8, Delta 9, and HHC testing to our requirements. While we add a couple more cannabinoids to the testing, it will identify the good players versus the bad players.
I understand, and we're going to take it up at the next meeting. So I think any questions could be formulated for that meeting too. So thank you, Steve.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. We'll have that on our agenda next time around. Going to move to our next item on the agenda, which is cannabis hyperemesis syndrome, if I pronounced that right. And Maxwell Lung is going to talk to us about that today.
Just want to have a quick call for assistance for new research project at ASU. So cannabis hyperemesis is a recurring vomiting condition that some people after prolonged cannabis use will develop. So in legalized jurisdiction in US, it's a common cause right now in emergency room that some people after they use cannabis for a while they would go to the emergency room with vomiting condition. So usually you go to the clinic with the exception of emergency room. The health provider, they are not trained to talk to the patient about cannabis use. That's just not how we train unfortunately, our health provider in this country these days. So we are interested to know, particularly for those who run dispensary, is this topic being come up, at all, during the interaction with the consumer? Because usually, based on, we actually have reached out to a couple of neurological clinics across the country. And one thing that we learned is usually when people talk about cannabis at the healthcare system, they just basically got shut down, right? The physician doesn't know how to interact with the patient regarding cannabis. So we are interested to know, do patients come to say talk to a bartender at all? Like, is it topic that is commonly brought up, at the dispensary? So I just, if anybody have any input on cannabis hyperemesis, please to send me an email. So you can just, Maxwell Leung, Google Maxwell Leung ASU, and my email should be there, easy to find. So I really appreciate all the input. Thank you.
And Max, is this regardless of how you consume the marijuana? Does it relate to all consumption of marijuana?
Right now, we are just interested in how this topic is being brought up between the consumer and the dispensary and also the health provider. That's kind of the area that we are looking into. We have some hypotheses that might be the cause of cannabis hyperemesis, but like I say, the research that we have right now in the field is highly inadequate. We know very little about it. Like, it's not a focus in medical research at all. That's why we want to look into it, and we want to get the input from the dispensary and what you guys think about it. We appreciate it. Yes.
I can just add, this is Murray Stein. A number of dispensaries in Arizona focus on more on the health aspects of the patients than others. And I know when we were doing this, that we would have occasionally consumers would come in and talk about issues. Have you talked to the ADA about trying to do an outreach or anything to look and speak to those particular dispensaries?
Potentially, yeah, that's why I'm bringing it up. Yeah,
I think if you get the word out there, you'll probably have some people that will want to help.
Okay, okay, thank you. I'm sorry.
And if anyone does need Max's contact information, feel free to reach out to the department as well.
Anyone else online? Any questions for Max at this point?
Thank you.
Okay, hearing none, we'll move on. Thank you, Maxwell. Okay. Next up is Murray Stein, who's going to talk about potency calculation. I'll turn it over to you, Murray, and I know you had slides that you sent out.
Yes.
Sent out ahead of time.
Yes. So, first, I just want to make a couple quick remarks. First of all, we can't be happier to be here, despite the heat. We see this as one of the most important things that we do in our industry, because we're always trying to make up for confusion or lack of understanding. It's a complex business we're in. There's many facets of it, and it's really easy to misunderstand. And in our own experience doing edibles, that's a particular pain point. And we see this as a vehicle to try to make those pain points known and try to improve our industry. So from our perspective, it's really important that we do this, and that we're virtually religious about it. So I really want to say to all the other board members, please make an effort to be consistent and to represent your commitment here. Last fall, we had one meeting where we weren't able to accomplish anything because we just missed quorum.